Hello again, I'm Anthony Malik, and this is Review Your Website, reviewing mariasflorist.com. So it's quite a quick loading website here. I like definitely straight away we know what's going on. We'd know that from the URL that it's a florist. I would consider changing the Italian title to an English one if you're targeting an English audience. Like the rest of the text here seems to be in English, and then possibly as we change it to Italian, you can go back to Maria Fiorista. Let's continue on. The hero image here is quite good. It's fairly symmetric, very colorful, attracts the eyes. We know straight away that this is, even if we didn't read the URL or the title, we know this is a website about flowers. I think there's a lot going on here in the header. And it combined with the complexness, like this is a very complex image. There's a lot of very vibrant different colors and patterns going on. So essentially this is standing out regardless. And you're trying to compete with a complex header, I think, visually. So you have a complex area here and then another fairly complex area going on here. I would simplify that and let your image stand out on its own. In terms of simplifying it, what we actually end up having two navigation bars up here. I don't know if the two of them are necessary. The alignment here is adding an extra layer of complexity here. It's not quite matching to the left here, but I would say, I think this is done on purpose. I don't know if it's working especially well. I would consider removing the top header and adding more white space to the bottom and the top of this title, and I might let it stand out. It's a really nice serif font going on there, and I think if you let it stand out on its own, it would make a very bold statement. Excuse me. Over here we have your contact information, which is good. However, I'm not a big fan of the gradient on this live chat now button. Also, live chat now buttons, I've never seen them add a huge amount to a website. The live chat features, I find it hard to believe that you actually do have somebody waiting at the end of a live chat, and they're not just the service that or a plugin that you're using. But obviously that's something that you make to a decision you need to make yourself. Let's make the info bar here in your hero. It's a little bit transparent. I see you've got about 90% alpha, I think. I would reduce that a little bit more. It might make it seem a little bit lighter, make it more transparent. It'll make this bar, I think, just feel lighter on the page rather than a big bold white line dissecting your image. Also, what you have here is the tooltips coming up. Okay, interesting. I like the way that when I put my mouse over it, I do get more information. However, there's a lot of information in each tooltip, and they're not the same in that as I scroll up, tooltips fit, that they're not, they're not the same between all four of them. So I'd look at improving that. There's a lot of information going on down here. I like the fact that you've got me choose roses and need help. So obviously you have your flowers categorized, and it's handy to have this done. It looks like there's a lot of thought gone into these forms here. They're quite nice. Again, the chat now and this stock image takes away from your design. The quality of this image, I think, does as well. It looks a little bit grainy. Let's move down. These boxes, there's a lot going on here. You're suffering from kind of border overload in that you have this textured background here and then the white background and then your card going on, which adds an edge. And you end up with two edges here, which essentially are taking away from the possible white space. You could have essentially this whole area of white space, but you're dividing that and making everything seem a little bit more boxed in. I'd consider maybe getting rid of the textured background to see if that lightens things up. Again, a lot of content going on here. The boxes are quite well designed, I think. Again, I'm not a big fan of the gradient, but I like the way it's overlapping this line, breaking that kind of rigidity. But there's also a lack of white space, I think, in between them. The boxes, I mean. Inside the boxes themselves, I like there's a little bit of asymmetry going on here with the previous price over to the left, and I think that works. It's smaller. Yeah, it works for me, I think. You're also combating the fact that flowers are inherently complex objects. It's very hard to make them fit on a simple design, which is and match well. So I think that's quite good. Okay, so there's another few points that we have down here, and especially with this content area here. I'm just going to continue that in a separate video. Welcome back. Just continuing the review here of mariasflorist.com, and we've gone through the header, the hero image, and your information boxes or your content boxes. We've got down to this area of information, a larger information box, almost like a blog post going on here. I think it stands out for the wrong reason here. It looks a little bit, it's boxy, where you have these nice curves going on here, and it's not fitting well. It's not sitting into the design here. Yeah, also there's a number of issues with the typography here. First of all, your header is far too small here. Also, your typography here, there's a number of kind of maxims or kind of guidelines we can use to make blocks of text like this stand out and work a lot better. Mainly, initially, you want to have your minimum font size, above 12. Around 14 typically works quite well. And this is obviously much far below that. What you can also do is, and in terms of finding the right font size, is you look at your line length. So essentially the length from this W all the way over to this F. And the guideline we typically use is that we don't want your line to go on any more than 2 to 3 alphabets, so about 2.3 or 2.5 alphabets. So the way we can test this is if we go and inspect the element, and we open it up here, and we should be able to edit the text. And if I delete this text and insert, I should have copy and pasted an alphabet. We should be able to just click OK, and now we can see. So this is, you can see it's 1, 2, and a little bit of an alphabet. So that's approximately the line length you want to aim for, and you can see that's actually less than half the width of the text you have in this box. So I would increase the font size so that it ends up being about that length. This button here, what does that take? Oh, there's a lot more here. I would simplify the text. Nobody's actually going to read that. It's just taking up space, being as small as it is and as dense as it is. I'd also, again, what you have is another set of borders, and it's just subtracting from the white space that you could possibly be using. Let's move on to these 3 boxes down here. Essentially what these boxes are doing is they're just repeating information that we already know. So we already know that you're Italy's national florist. I think you said it up here somewhere, oh, there we go, Italy's national florist. So essentially it's repeating these elements up here: same day delivery, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. They're not adding too much to the design, and they're not in fact adding too much to your search engine optimization either, I wouldn't say. I would possibly consider removing these. Yeah, and just simplifying things. Your footer here is quite nice, actually. It's quite simple. It really does the job. You have a repeat of your live chat now button, which I think isn't essential, but it is in your near contact us and customer service, I suppose, so it's in the right area there. I like the fact that you're not overdoing the social buttons that a lot of websites tend to do these days. It's kind of understated up here and then just repeated once down in the footer where people are going to go looking for them. One thing I would say though, in terms of your footer, is that it's the horizontal rules here are not aligned correctly. So you can see there's a gap to the right here and there's none over here, which is just, it makes it look a little bit amateur. I would also remove the horizontal rule at the bottom here. It doesn't add anything, and it's also aligned wrong. These lines here to the left, obviously the left border of something, or yeah, probably the left border of these boxes. It's nice. It's a nice little separator. However, they're not, it's kind of interesting in that it's not even between the content here and it's almost even here. It's just, there's something funny going on there. They're also not aligning perfectly in the center of the page, as in this line doesn't match the center of this box or the point of this arrow or the center of these boxes here. So I would look into that.